It is not easy to be a witness to Christ today because we are living in a very difficult, challenging world. A world that is basically founded on rationalism or even worse still, relativism. Rationalism simply is using reason alone to come to terms with the realities and truth of life. Relativism goes to the other extreme, that no truth can be found by reason, and therefore one has to rely on just your personal preference. And I think the real danger of the church today is that we too have been influenced by the world. Why do I say this? Simply because today many of our Catholics are very well educated. And so they take it upon themselves in trying to discern, let's say, a doctrine. It could be a moral doctrine, it could be a dogmatic doctrine. If they are agreeable, if they appeal to the reason, they will accept. If the reason cannot understand or cannot agree with it, they reject. Especially today, the world thinks that they know a lot and therefore reason alone can come to discern the truth. Or if you take in terms of moral relativism, those who think that the truth can never be found, then it is a question of preference, and therefore the preference is decided by the majority. So it's a matter of consensus. This is disastrous because it means to say, therefore, that we can no longer say that we have the truth in life. We can no longer say that we know how to live our life. When we talk about faith, faith is based on divine revelation. If there is no divine revelation, no faith is required. Then religion can just be reduced to reason alone. If I can argue a doctrine systematically, then you have to accept. But the truth is, although our faith is intelligible, that is reasonable, it does not mean that it can be reduced to reason alone. Otherwise, no faith is required. It is faith because it depends on divine revelation. Without divine revelation, we will never know who God is. Without divine revelation, we will never know the full identity of Jesus. Without divine revelation, we can never know the Holy Trinity and all the other aspects of life as well. Life after death, the eternal kingdom. So if you do not believe that the Catholic faith is of divine origin or divine institution, then of course, then it is reduced to a mere human institution where it is a question of collective agreement of what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is false. When St. Peter confessed that Jesus, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God, this faith of Peter will safeguard the church. Faith of Peter, of course, is faith in Jesus as the Christ. But it is this same faith of Peter that Jesus said will hold out against the underworld. And so it's important for us to understand that the faith of Peter itself is rooted in divine revelation. It was not his own thinking, but because God revealed this fact about Jesus to Peter. That is why in the Catholic Church, we believe that ultimately divine revelation is given to the church. And St. Peter is the one who safeguards the authenticity, the truth of our doctrines. Of course, the Pope is always in consultation with the bishops. But ultimately, while the magisterium includes the bishops and the Pope, it's the Pope that has the final decision, simply because he's the vicar of Christ. It is basically faith in Jesus as the Christ, in God, that will protect the church. So the church cannot be reduced to a human institution alone, as if it is a question of someone who is good enough to manage the organization. If that is the case, I think most of us bishops will have to give up our job, because all we need to do is to employ someone to run the church. You don't need to have a man of faith. You just need to have an intelligent man, a man of reason, a man who is a strategist. If that is the case, we don't need to have priests. If that is the case, we just have to employ the person who can produce the best result, bring more converts in, and of course money as well. But precisely the church is of divine origin. It is faith that drives us, and we believe that ultimately, if there is any growth in the church, it is the work of God.